how are you doing today? This is a bit of an unusual video. Normally don't show the inner workings like this, but I haven't been doing any channel updates or studio updates or anything for quite a while, and I don't actually have any other role plays that I'm ready to film right now. I'm in the middle of a couple of collabs, so I've got some other stuff on the go. Anyway, I normally hide this little fella, and I decided to put him, I don't know why I'm calling it him, on camera because he's going away. This has been, for all intents and purposes, my main studio microphone for probably 2 years now. I have a Blue Yeti, which is, of course, the standard awesome ASMR microphone, but it's attached to my computer and I use it for streaming. And I decided probably a couple of years ago, I really like the idea of a wire-free studio, right? So you don't have to have cables everywhere. So obviously this is running off battery. You in the camera are running off battery. Even my light is running off battery. And this light behind me, which I'll show you in a second, is really cool. I just got these a couple of weeks ago. Yeah. However, I have recognized that and I'm not going to do any noise reduction on this video, but I've recognized that the level of hiss, check, listen, you can hear the cars as well, but if you ignore the cars and listen to just the room for a second, there's a wee bit of hiss. Now, my computer's running, there is a teeny bit of background noise, but most of that hiss, I mean, unless I'm wrong, is coming from the device itself, okay, because it's just noisy. So, I asked my generous viewers on Monday if you guys might be willing to help me out with paying for a couple of new microphones. And because I was going to buy them anyway, it just, wasn't sure which ones to buy and what my price range would be. Anyway, I bought some because of the absolutely incredibly generous donations from a whole bunch of you. So thank you so much, and I will be making a video with the new microphones in a couple of weeks when they get here. Saying your names and thanking you properly. But I'm just going to show you some stuff. So, in my effort to get better audio, I'm never going to fix that problem. In my effort to get better audio, I purchased this. Let's see if it focuses. There we go. It's a Behringer UMC 2020 HD. I was hoping to get the focus right, but it was a little bit expensive. And all the reviews that I read suggested that the preamps, which are Midas preamps, I like that word, it's a good ASMR word. Preamp. All the preamps in this, a lot of people said in a lot of reviews that they sound just as good, if not better, than the Focusrite. So I'm hoping that's the case, because this was half the price of the Focusrite. However, I can't use it yet until the microphones show up. So, let's see if these make any good ASMR sounds. Anyway, but it's coming. So I also also got like another mic stand in addition to this one, and I got cables and stuff. So I will be returning to using cables, but only two for now. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. I now have way too many lights, more lights than I know what to do with. And I think I'm going to start getting rid of some of my lights. However, I really wanted to show you these lights. I don't know if you can see that. Let me just, and again, these are all running off battery. These are the newer RGB P280s, which are pretty new. And they're Bluetooth as well. So let me see if I've got, oops, that's the other one. So if so you can just adjust it on the app or on the dial. And I've got a bit of a party going on behind me now. I've got lightning, and oh, that's the cops. So let's just go back to adjust. Pick a nice colour, maybe a nice blue. We can turn the saturation down or up. Let's go back halfway. Brightness up, brightness down. Let's get up nice and close so I can let you see it properly, shall we? If I'm going to do it, I might as well do it properly. Colour temperature up and down. Brightness up and down. Change the colour completely to, let's see, well, it's supposed to be red. Let's move that over to red. You just dial the little wheel, put it wherever you want, and yeah, so it's pretty cool, right? Curse those motorbikes. Usually I blame trucks and Hondas, but I'm pretty sure that one was a motorbike, so no offence to the bikers out there. That's the one that's on my face, that's over there, so it's just, I mean, it is crazy. Yeah, let's stick with a nice warm yellow. Turn the brightness right. That looks a bit too bright for me. There we go. But yeah, pretty cool, eh? Okay, let's and you can do scenes and save them and stuff like that. They didn't pay me to say any of that stuff, by the way. I just wanted to show you what I've been up to. Now it looks totally wrong on the camera. Yeah, that's a bit better. Cooler colour temp, brightness down a wee bit. Go over to the other light. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the scene to party. And just candlelight, actually. Let's go candlelight. That seems a little nicer. We can leave it like that. Yeah, obviously flickers when I change it. So yeah, new microphones are going to be here in a couple of weeks because Ever the Frugal Scot. I know it's a stereotype I don't really like, but I have to admit I do kind of get quite frugal. So what I did, right, and this is a tip for anybody living in Canada, by the way. If you ever shop on Amazon, which I know there's ethical stuff like that, oh God, I know. If you shop on Amazon in Canada, you should always compare it to the US Amazon, right? Which you probably already know, but this is something I do a lot. The microphones I bought were $100 each on the Canadian Amazon, right? Plus tax. So it was going to be like $227, $230. I was like, that's cool. I'll just check the US one. The US one, they were $50 each, which was like, I don't know, 62 Canadian dollars each, which was pretty cheap. But you have to pay import fees. time you added it all up, the import fees and the delivery, the grand total of 2 microphones coming all the way from the US was like $175 versus $230, and that's Canadian dollars. So it was way cheaper. Just means I've got to wait a little bit longer to get them. But it allowed me to use the remaining money that so many of you generously donated to cables and a mic stand. Yeah, so it worked out just perfectly. So yeah, else? That awkward moment when you realise you may have run out of things to talk about. So I'm not going to get rid of the DR05. It's a perfectly great, perfectly good microphone. It's not really supposed to be a studio microphone, that's all. So even with the new mics, I've been doing a lot of research about self-noise, and I want to give a shout out to Bearded Audio, by the way, Bearded Audio ASMR channel. Check him out. Because I ran a few options by him, and he gave me some pretty good feedback on microphones and noise and stuff like that. So ultimately, you may see on other people's channels, they have what's called the Rode NT1A, and it has a self-noise level because, in case you don't know, all microphones have a little bit of hiss, like they all do, because of the circuitry and just the nature of it, right? That particular mic, has a self-noise of, I think 4.5 decibels, which is like the lowest you can get, I've seen. But it's a little bit out of the price range as well. But there's a ton of other mics which have pretty low noise, and you honestly can't hear it anyway, because this room is always going to have a little bit of shimmering background noise anyway, so you're competing with that. So I don't think I needed to go crazy and get the top tier when I probably wouldn't get the benefit from it anyway. But there's another channel called Cat Moon ASMR, I believe, and she has the microphones that I've bought. I'm going to leave it a mystery until you actually hear them, because you probably don't care what kind they are anyway. But you can go check her out and see. And they sound awesome. And there's a teeny little bit of this. But I think it's going to be great. And I really wanted something that would be sensitive and complementary to my voice, which, as you may know, has a bit more of I have a bit more of a bassy voice. Now, this is the interesting thing, challenging thing for me, is when I listen back to my voice, which I don't really like doing, but I have to do it when I edit, the bass, the rumble, bassy, low sound, rumble, bassy, low sound, like that, sits at round about mostly, well, in a range, but mostly around 100 hertz on the equalizer scale. And for my sins, the trucks and the motorbikes exhausts also happen to be about 100 hertz. So when my voice and the exhaust goes by, there's nothing I can do about it except just cut that bit out if it's really bad. But in reality, I leave a lot of it in because, it's not. We all do the best we can. Okay, so yeah. Anyway, you listened, I hope you liked this wee ramble. Hope you think the new lights are cool. I love the new lights. And check it out in a couple of weeks when I've got the new mics set up. They're going to be like probably off camera. Maybe I'll put them on camera for the first one. When I do a role play, I'll put them back here, so they're kind of just off to the side, so they'll be your ears, right? And we'll see it, but we should get the really awesome left and right. Like, this is pretty good left, but even when I talk into your left ear like this, I can see the levels going up and down on the right ear too, so because it's right there. So I'm always going to be able to, I'll never be able to fully separate it. But I think you'll agree that this little microphone has done a pretty bloody good job overall. And with a bit of noise reduction and a wee bit of tweaking, you can get it sounding really good. But the problem, I'm just going to keep rambling because, hey, that's what we do, right? The problem with having a microphone with enough hiss, too much hiss, is that you can noise reduce it. You can grab that hiss and cut it out. But when you do that, you actively carve away at the good sounds as well, because they all mix. So I really notice it when I do the noise reduction on this one. I can get it sounding pretty good. But then I notice my voice starts to sound a little bit robotic, because a lot of the frequencies that are in my voice were also in that hiss. You cut out the hiss, you're also chopping out a whole bunch of those frequencies, and it starts to sound a little robotic, I guess. At least in the type of noise reduction I use on Audacity. So that's my understanding of it, or at least if you have the voice in the middle and hiss either side, it'll eliminate that. But where they meet the voice and the hiss, there's also, like at the beginning and end of a word, like a word. That word sounds completely right now, but if I noise reduced it, the end word, and then it leads into the hiss, it starts to sound like this strange robotic tailing off sound. It's hard to describe it, but those of you who are into audio will know exactly what I'm talking about. I don't know how much the average listener would notice, and also when you're listening on speakers or relatively inexpensive headphones, maybe you don't really notice anyway. But I have come around to appreciating really good audio, and most of the channels I admire have just pristine audio, and I feel like it's time for me to up my game. So thank you again to those of you who supported me with this. I'm going to thank you properly, like I said, when the mics arrive, and we'll get your names all spoken out in the video, which will be in a couple of weeks. Okay. Now, I've got to go and do some other stuff now, like be a dad and go get my kids ready for bed and all that boring stuff. So, yeah. I'm just joking. One last thing. We had a clear out in the kids' playroom today, and I'm pretty ruthless. I'm like, chuck that out, chuck that out, chuck that out. And they came along and wanted to chuck this out, and I went, oh, I don't know. I know these are old school now, but I still think we're talking about Mr. Beast. I still think these are awesome, and it's not exactly like it takes up much space, so I'm going to hold on to it on the off chance that Fidget Spinner ASMR makes a return. Maybe I can be the one to pioneer the return of Fidget Spinner ASMR. What do you think? We'll see. Okay. Raw and uncut. Take care. See you later.